for people that are not here at the moment. So, hi everyone again. Welcome to WeVisualize. My name is Abby, and I run this with Dolapo. It should be somewhere on the call as well. Yeah. So, can everyone see the screen that says WeVisualize? If you can see it, you can just respond in the comments. If you can see it, and if you can hear me. Okay, great. You can see it. Right. So just for the sake of like the new people that are here, I will just quickly run through what WeVis is, and then I would introduce our speaker, Sarah. So WeVis is an online meetup, right? It's a data community for, sorry, not an online meetup, a data community for database enthusiasts, right? And we started this last year. I think our first meetup was in July or June, right? Yeah, so and the reason I started it was because I'd been working in tech for a bit, and I realized that a bunch of the communities were like focused on developers and software, like people that write software, and not everyone like is going to write software. Do you get, like, there has to be like other rules. All these tech companies are generating lots of data, but people have to be there that can make sense of this data and help the business to grow, right? So it's not just about creating the software, right? So that's why I started this community. Yeah, that's basically what the section says. And we're a growing community of individuals that are passionate and curious about analytics, how it impacts businesses, how it impacts the world, how organizations are making data-driven decisions. Yeah, so basically that. And just help people. So in the last almost 12 months now that we've been running, in our community, there's like a wide range of like profiles. There's people that are beginners, we have intermediates, and then we have like experienced people as well. So creating that avenue where people can interact with each other and then just grow, right? People help each other, people share their knowledge, people share their learnings, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's our goal. And how we plan to do this, we do physical meetups well until Corona became a thing. We used to meet like on Saturdays at like different workspaces in Lagos. And we have like a newsletter, and we have like an online platform, a Telegram, where like people share like different information. Yeah, and we're based in Lagos, Nigeria. You can find us on Twitter at we_visualize. Send us an email or join the meetup. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I will go into introducing our speaker now. I met Sarah on Twitter, actually. Like when I first started using Tableau, which was in 2017, towards the end of 2017, actually. And she's one of the people that has been so supportive, like, of my journey. First of all, the Tableau community is amazing, right? But like, there are also like specific people that are so supportive of your journey and ready to support you, ready to like, what's the word? Like, I can't think of the word now, but like, you know, when someone carries your matter on their head, I don't know what the word is for people that are not Nigerians to understand this, but yeah. So she like really supports what I do, and she's also a Tableau Zen master. She runs Iron Biz. She's a Tableau ambassador. She does a whole lot of things in the Tableau community, and she's been like in this space for over 10 years. So she's very experienced, and yeah, I'm excited to like do this with her. Yeah, so she has some Nigerian connections. If she wants, she might share that, but
maybe.
So, yeah.
I'm not gonna speak Yoruba or anything like that. I can say "dear, dear." That's literally like my Yoruba is chorus.
Welcome,
but yeah,
Sarah.
Thank you. Just for context, my husband's Nigerian, so I've been to Lagos a couple of times, and I was really excited to find Abby. She was like the first Nigerian like data viz person that I came across. So.
Alrighty, so yeah, we can start.
Thank you for the introduction. Let me just share my screen. Let me know if you can see it.
Yep. I can see it. If you can see it, please respond in the comments as well. Yes. So
Yep. Okay.
yeah.
All right, let me get started. So today's talk is going to be on skills for success and tips to help you become a better analyst with Tableau. So just a little bit about me. I mean, Abby's given me a great introduction already, but I work as a consultant at Slalom, based in London, where I'd say 95% of what I do is with Tableau. This year I became a Tableau Zen Master, so I'm still in shock about that. It's really crazy. I've been a Tableau Social Ambassador for about 2 years now. And that was just through recognition of all the things that I do on social media and in the community. I'm a co-leader of London TUG, which is London Tableau User Group. So we meet around about every 6 weeks, usually in the normal world, in London, and just run like meetup groups for the Tableau community there. And you can find me on Twitter at Sarah Loves Data, and I've also got a website, sarahlovesdata.co.uk. But I'll share those links again at the end so you can grab them then. Right, so in terms of my background, so as Abby said, I've been working in data and analytics for quite a while, so just over 12 years now, but I've only been a Tableau user for 6 years. And 3 years of those I've been actually consulting with Tableau or using Tableau in my job. I waited ages to get my Tableau certifications. I was really nervous about sitting them, so I didn't get my first Tableau certification until 2018. And then last year I took my Tableau Desktop Certified Professional certification, which is at the highest kind of level you can get in Tableau Desktop. And thankfully I passed that. And as I mentioned before, so I've been running London TUG since 2016, so quite a while now. So I've got a lot of experience in kind of like running user groups and that kind of thing. If you're not familiar with my work, here are just a few of my visits from Tableau Public. So I've been using Tableau Public probably since about 2016, I think. I visualize all different types of topics. A lot of these are Makeover Mondays, so I'll talk about Makeover Monday more later, but every week there's a different topic. So you'll see on my profile, I've got things covering like a wide range of topics. But I also do some vids for fun, so like the Stormzy viz. I'm a big fan of Stormzy, and I did a viz on him and his career. Just thought it'd be really interesting, because a lot of people don't really know who he is outside the UK. So I did that. But yeah, I've got about 152 visualizations on my profile now, so I've been pretty busy. But as you can see, you know, I love to use Tableau, and it's a big part of my life now outside of work. But it didn't all start there. So originally I was an Excel, like diehard Excel user. I absolutely used to love Excel. This is before I even knew what Tableau was. And so much of, let's say, half of my analytics career was in Excel. And I was building dashboards like this one, which are pretty terrible, but may look familiar to you if you use a lot of Excel or if your business does. So this was kind of like my reality for a long time, just building dashboards like these and sharing them via email and all that kind of crazy stuff. And then I'd say probably about, it was 6 years ago now, where I was working. I worked as a senior MI analyst, and the head of BI in my company, he'd just joined, and he'd been using Tableau at a previous company, and said, right, everybody here now needs to go on Tableau training, and we need to start moving away from Excel and move to Tableau. Now, at that point in time, I didn't know what Tableau was. I was kind of scared to start learning something new, but it was free training. They offered me 2 full days training, which we never ever got offered in my company. So I was really excited for the opportunity. So I went on this 2-day Tableau training course, and like I said at the time, not knowing what Tableau was, and came out of that thinking, wow, like Tableau is amazing. So I just fell in love with Tableau straight away. I love the things that it could do with maps. At the company I was working with, we had lots of locations around the UK, and it meant I could put them in Tableau and actually show them on a map. And I thought that was incredible. I couldn't do that in Excel. But then I quickly realized that, you know what, I couldn't do some of the things I needed to do for work in Tableau. So I wasn't working with financial data at the time. I was actually looking at data related to facilities management. So basically we had data from a call center, so where people called up and logged jobs, things like a broken light bulb or spilt coffee on the carpet. We'd get the data behind that. So we were just counting like numbers of jobs and things like that. And it was very different to the data that I'd been trained on. So like the Superstore sales data, if you're familiar with it in Tableau. And so I quickly fell out of love with Tableau. So I kind of felt like this. And I just didn't really want to use Tableau anymore. I was like, this is too difficult. I'll just go back to Excel. There was nobody else in my team that was using Tableau. It was purely me. There was a wider team of people in different locations, but they weren't really supportive, and it was really hard. And then after about 6 months, I thought, you know, Tableau is really good. I do really want to learn it, and I'm not going to get the support that I need from work. So I'm kind of on my own in this. So I decided to start like researching Tableau, looking at Tableau blogs, and just kind of teaching myself again, so I could then actually apply those learnings in my day job. So that's when I joined Tableau Public. So if you're not aware, Tableau Public is a platform that's free to use, and you can actually go and publish your work to the platform. It's, you know, you can go on there and see everybody's visualizations, just like the ones I've shown you of my own profile. And I joined that platform, and I was really nervous about putting my work out there. Now, this is the first visualization I published to Tableau Public, and I think this was in around 2015, I think 2014 or 15, I published this. I mean, it's not the worst visualization in the world, but it's definitely not the best, and it's you know, it's really nothing special about this at all. But I was terrified to publish this, and just for context, I think this was like week 9 of Make of a Monday, so the first ever Make of a Monday. Now, Make of a Monday's been running every year since then, so this is right at the beginning I got involved, and I thought, you know, I recognized it was a good opportunity. I've been following a guy called Andy Kriebel, who's a Tableau Zen Master. He's actually in the Tableau Zen Master Hall of Fame, which means he's now a Zen Master forever. And he's got an amazing blog, and he launched this this platform called Make of a Monday, where they'd take a visualization that was perhaps not the best and publish some data alongside it, and you're asked to kind of make it over and make it better. And I'd seen people online, you know, getting involved in this new initiative, and I thought I would as well. So this was my first viz. Again, like I said, nothing to be proud of, but it gets worse. So that this is my first, and then the next week I did this one, which is even worse than the first one. And at the time, I thought this viz was amazing. You know, I was really proud of myself. It was obviously the data was themed around like the fairground. So I'd done like bubbles, which I thought looked like balloons. I made my bars look like horse carousels. I thought the bar chart looked like a roller coaster. Like, I thought this was really, really good, but in fact it's, you know, actually quite terrible. But the reason I'm showing you these is because everybody starts somewhere. Like, if you look at any Zen Masters Tableau Public profile, chances are if you scroll right down to the bottom, you'll see some work very similar to this, because nobody starts off like, you know, really, really good at the tool. It takes a lot of practice. So just for context, you know, this is my most recent visualization that I published a couple of weeks ago. In fact, this was actually a Make of a Monday. And I think this just, you know, showed in contrast that how far my skills have come on, both in terms of like using the tool, but also like just in terms of design. And Tableau is really good at kind of teaching you those principles, and getting involved in these projects really helps you learn from others as well. So you might be wondering, you know, why should I bother like learning Tableau? Like, what's in it for me? So just for context, as you probably are already aware if you're on this call, that data skills are in demand. Tableau's a market-leading software. So if you look at the Gartner Magic Quadrant, Tableau's up there with Power BI. They're usually quite close to each other. There's this argument, you know, which one's better, but they're very different. So, you know, one could be good in one case and one might be better in the other case. Tableau's used across all industries. Like, it doesn't really matter what industry you're in. If you've got data, then Tableau would work for you. So that, you know, that plays back to the point that why Tableau skills are in demand. It's very easy to learn. So it's just a drag and drop interface. It's, you know, obviously it does take some effort, but it's easy. There's no code involved. You don't need to learn complex code to use Tableau. And it's designed to be quite intuitive. It offers a free open source version, so you don't need to buy the software to use it like some other tools. You can use the Tableau public app, which you download. It's completely free, and as long as you're using open data, you can use that for free. And then, of course, there's the Tableau community, which is quite famous for being very supportive. And Abby's touched on this already, but there's this huge community around Tableau, and I'll talk more about that later in my talk. But that's the one thing that's helped me stick with Tableau. I don't think I would have stuck with it if it hadn't been for the community. Okay, so let's get into the tips to how you can advance your career in analytics with Tableau. So number one, I'd say, is master the basics. So what I mean by this is just learn how to use Tableau, like the absolute minimum, like how you open it up, how you connect to data and that kind of thing. Now, the best place you can go for this is the Tableau website, where they offer free training resources. Now, on this talk, I'm really emphasizing all the free resources you can get. There's very few things you need to pay for when you're learning Tableau. You can do most of it for free. I think apart from that 2-day training course that I mentioned that I attended at the beginning of my career, everything else I've done since then has pretty much been free, apart from like conferences and that kind of thing. So definitely go and check out the free training resources on the Tableau website. They offer these bite-sized videos that are around 4 to 5 minutes long, and just dwell in on like different topics, so you can really like get to grips with things. And they offer free like training examples as well, so you can actually practice. Now, before the until the end of the month, so until the 30th of June, you can actually go and get Tableau e-learning for free as well. So normally there's a charge for this, but if you sign up before the 30th of June, you get e-learning free for 90 days. And with e-learning, you can actually earn badges, and those badges then go on your profile. You can put them on social media or LinkedIn, and they're designed around different Tableau roles. So you can get badges for being a designer, or maybe you're a server admin, or maybe you're an executive. There's badges for everyone. So I think there's around 14 in total. So take this opportunity to go and sign up for free, and then you've got it free for 90 days. And it's a really good way of like building out your portfolio. And the one other thing I want to mention here is the Tableau Student Guide, which was actually something that was set up by Maria Brock. So Maria Brock is based in the US, and she's a Tableau student ambassador. She's just graduated from college over there. But she set up this fantastic website, which is designed for people new to Tableau. It was designed for students in general, but it's applicable to anyone. And it tells you like kind of the key things you need to master to get going with Tableau. It gives you an introduction to the community, and it talks about certifications as well. So I highly recommend you go and check that out. If you feel like the training resources, the free ones aren't really getting you where you need to be, I recommend you attend a formal in-person class. Now, obviously, the coronavirus world is a little bit different to usual, but I'd say if you can get these through work and get work to pay for them, then great. If you can't, then there's an opportunity for you to self-fund, and there's different levels, right? So you could buy a course on something like Udemy or Coursera or LinkedIn Learning, which are relatively cheap, or maybe you could do another course through Tableau, which I'd say is going to be more expensive, or even just try and attend a user group or a virtual user group where they offer training for free. And that you might find, everyone learns differently, so you may find that a class is better for you than the free online training. And now, before I continue, I just want to say, this isn't Tableau specific, but really try and learn basic data visualization skills and understand best practices. Now, Tableau kind of does this for you in some of the learnings or encourage best practices, but I recommend checking out storytellingwithdata.com, and specifically the community around that. Now, that's run by a lady called Cole Nussbaumer-Knaflic, and she has a book, which I highly recommend, called Storytelling with Data. And in that book and on her website, she lays out all the best practices you need to follow when working with data. And the community is really great because she set it up, it's free to use, and you can actually go and publish your visualizations up there and request feedback from experts, and you can look at other people's work. She sets a storytelling with data challenge where she'll like try and help you kind of learn a specific part of data visualization, whether that be like I don't know, annotating your line charts properly, or ordering your bar charts properly, and things like that. Just presenting data in the right way, in an easy to understand way. So I highly recommend you check that out. And that's completely tool agnostic. It's not centered around Tableau at all. Okay, so number 2, I'd say, is practice regularly. So you're not going to get good at Tableau if you just use it once a week and then don't do much else with it. Like, I can tell you myself, that's what I did, and it didn't really work out for me. So I'd say definitely join Tableau Public, download the free app if you haven't got access to a Tableau Desktop license. You can get a free license for 14 days, so you could always get that and utilize that if you like, but the Tableau Public app is very similar to what you'd get with a Tableau license. And you may be thinking, I've got Tableau now, I don't really know like what data to visualize, I haven't got any data. Don't worry, there's loads of Tableau community projects out there to help you. So number 1 being Makeover Monday, which I've mentioned before. I'd highly recommend you go and check that out. It's makeofamonday.co.uk is the website, or you can just look at, for any of these, you can look at the hashtag on Twitter or on LinkedIn. And basically, Make for Monday, there's a new challenge every week. There's a new data set every week. They offer feedback as well. And we're actually going to talk more about that after this session, myself and Abby. But yeah, definitely check that out. I credit Make for Monday for getting me where I am today. So I highly, highly recommend you have a look at that. And if you don't want to participate in the current week, they've got Make for Mondays going back a couple of years. And bear in mind, there's like 52 data sets every year. So that I'm sure if you look back, there'll be a data set that like sparks your interest and you can use to practice. I'd say with any of these though, make sure you share your work. Don't just do Make for Mondays or any of these in silence. Try and share your work, seek feedback, and just try and build up your portfolio. That's the great thing about Tableau Public, is that you can publish your work there and actually build out a portfolio that proves you know how to use Tableau. So then if you're looking for a job, you can say to the employer, hey, look at all these visualizations I've done, and actually prove that you can use it. And I've done that myself, and I really wouldn't be in the job that I do today if I hadn't had a Tableau Public portfolio that could evidence what I've been doing. So another challenge you can get involved in is Workout Wednesday. So Workout Wednesday, I say, is probably the opposite of Make for Monday. So with Workout Wednesday, they present to you a completed visualization. It's usually a business style dashboard. And the idea is that you have to kind of reverse engineer it and figure out what they did to get there and how they designed it and how they use calculations to get it into the right format and that kind of thing. It tends to be a little bit harder than Make for Monday, but it's a fantastic learning opportunity. Now, I'd recommend you give it a try, see how you get on. If you can't complete an exercise, that's absolutely fine. And then what you can do is then look at the resources that the team that lead that project put out. And part of that they usually publish is a solutions video on YouTube every week. So where they actually have someone walking through from start to finish how they built the visualization. So by watching that, you'll learn lots of tips and tricks, and obviously you'll learn kind of like where you went wrong and learn those skills that you can then apply to your own work. And again, they've been running this for a couple of years. So you can look back at prior challenges and watch other solution videos for previous weeks. And there's a really supportive community around that project as well. So definitely check that out. There's a couple of more projects I want to mention. So there's IronQuest, which I actually founded myself last year. So IronQuest is a monthly project. It's modeled around IronViz, which is a big competition run by Tableau every year. And with IronQuest, what we do is we publish a topic every month. So we'll say, go away and visualize, I don't know, animals. And so it's up to you to then find data sets on animals and then publish a visualization about animals. And as with IronViz, the topic is centered around focusing on your design, storytelling, and analytics skills. So generally speaking, the visualizations submitted for IronQuest are a little bit more detailed. They take a little bit longer than what you'd do for a Make for Monday, but and you've got a whole month to do them, so that's not a problem. But this has really taken off recently, especially since all the lockdowns. I've just finished the most recent round of IronQuest, and we've had over 50 submissions, which is 50% more than what I had usually. So it's been really successful. So I recommend checking that out. There's currently not a project on, but I'll be launching one again in a couple of weeks, so to look out for that. Then there's Project HealthViz. So Project HealthViz is run by a lady called Lindsay Betzendahl, who's a health professional in the US. And she's launched this because she's very passionate about visualizing health data. She does that in her day job. And there's a lot of people that work in health that were looking to improve their skills and kind of learn how you visualize health data effectively. And that's why she launched Project HealthViz. Similar to IronQuest, it's a monthly project. There's a new a project every month. There's a new data set every month as well. And she provides a monthly blog post that kind of showcases everyone's work. So that's definitely worth checking out. And then finally, SportsViz Sunday. So if you're into sports, this will be the one for you. And with SportsViz Sunday, what they do is they have a theme every month. So it might be, this month we're going to visualize football data. So then they usually provide some data for you to use, or you can go and source your own. And it's just up to you to build a visualization on the chosen sport or topic. And then every week they showcase all the visualizations that have been published with the hashtag SportsViz Sunday. Even if those don't even touch on the topic that they've mentioned, but they cover a different sport, they'll still feature them in a Twitter kind of list. So definitely check that one out. It's a lot of fun. You see a lot of great work there, especially if you're into sports data. And this is an example. This is a Maker Monday from quite a while ago, but just to give you an idea of how it works, the visualization on the left is the original visualization that was found like in the media by the leaders of the project. And they publish the data that goes behind that. And then the visualizations on the right are the ones that people in the community produce using the same data. So as you can see, there's a lot of variety in all the entries, like no two visits are the same, everyone takes a different approach. And just by participating in this project, you'll learn so many different ways of just showcasing data away from just your regular bar charts and line charts and pie charts and that kind of thing. And people get really creative. So it's really a great way to learn. Number 3, I'd say, is publish your work. I know I've touched on this already, but I'm going to say it again. Join Tableau Public and publish your work there. And as well as that, share your work on social media, whether that's Twitter or LinkedIn. You'll find that the Tableau community kind of lives on Twitter. They're crazy about Twitter, but they're also on LinkedIn as well. So if you're not comfortable with Twitter, then I'd say have a look at LinkedIn. If you just search hashtags like for any of the projects I've just mentioned, or hashtag DataFam, you'll find Tableau people quite easily. Or even just look at who I follow, like you'll find all the Tableau people. But if you share your work on social media, people get really excited. People welcome you to the community. People give you feedback. And it's just a really great way of engaging with others and just having a look at what other people are doing as well. If you do Maker Monday, you can submit your visualization for review by the leaders, Eva and Charlie. So every week they do a feedback call on a Wednesday, which is recorded, so you don't need to join live, but they have this call where they go through all the visualizations that have been submitted for review and provide people with feedback. And now there's an expectation that you then go and work on that feedback and improve your visualization. But that's a really great way to learn, so definitely have a look at that. If you're not doing Maker Monday, but you still want to publish your work, I'd say just publish your visualizations and just say to people, welcome feedback from you. And people will come to you and offer some feedback, which is really great. If you're publishing your work regularly on Tableau Public, as I said, it's a really great way to show progression. So as I said, everyone starts somewhere. There's always room for improvement. And if it really shows a nice story, if you can show that improvement for your work on your Tableau Public profile. Another thing to think about as well is publishing a visual CV. So this is essentially taking what a normal CV, so all your like job history and education, and putting it into Tableau and actually using this to show to employers. So there's an example here by Alex Jones, who visualized his CV in quite a creative way. These are really common that in the Tableau world. They're called visames. And if you search the hashtag visame, or there's even a gallery of them all on the Tableau Public website. I definitely recommend you go and check these out and consider doing one. I actually haven't got around to doing mine yet. I will do it at some point, but it's a really great way of just packaging up all of your Tableau skills in a nice way, like to show prospective employers. Okay, so number 4 is engage with the community. So as I mentioned before, obviously Twitter's a big thing. Search for the hashtag DataFam, you will find the Tableau community, no problem. But aside from social media, I'd say try and join a user group. Now, it's great that you're on this call today, and I'm sure you're already involved in like in-person user groups in the normal world. But if you're not, then if you go to usergroups.tableau.com, you can find the closest user group to you in your area. There's no in-person user groups at the moment, so a lot of the user groups are going virtual, just like this one has. So that's given you even more opportunities to attend user groups around the world. Like in the last couple of weeks, I've attended user groups across Europe and in the US, and obviously I wouldn't usually have that opportunity living in London. So definitely have a look on that website, the usergroups.tableau.com, and see what user groups are happening virtually and try and join those, or even just register and then get the recording later if you can't join live. You'll learn a lot from attending these user groups. They all have a different variety of talks, and there might be people teaching Tableau on those calls, so it's really worth checking out. Another thing to do with the community is join the forums. So the Tableau forums are where people go when they've got problems with Tableau. So you may well use that site already if you get stuck with something. If you Google any Tableau problems, I can guarantee that the first link that comes up will be the Tableau forums. So definitely check out the forums, have a look what's going on there. Some people prefer that kind of engagement rather than social media. So you'll find some people on the forums that you don't find on social media as well. And these are really knowledgeable people, and they're always willing to help if you've got a problem. Follow other people on Tableau Public. So don't just set up your own profile and then don't follow others. Follow people, like favorite people's work, and just, you know, build up that following of others. Because when you publish work, people will then favorite your work, and that helps you get you noticed within the community on like the feed on Tableau Public of all the new work that's been published or favorited. And another way of really accelerating your skills and learning is to find a mentor. So Tableau community have actually set up ways of helping you connect you with mentors or mentees finding people to mentor as well. Mentoring Meetup was set up by Mark Bradburn. He used to be a Tableau ambassador. He now works for Tableau, but he set up this fantastic website where you can go to both register yourself as someone looking for a mentor, or you can actually go and register yourself as a mentor to find a mentee. So definitely check that out. It will show people that are available for mentoring opportunities, and you can reach out to them. And these are generally quite prominent people in the community as well, so they can really help connect you and accelerate your learning. There's just an example here from Maria Brock, where she just highlighted how helpful the Twitter community is. So she posted a tweet around asking how she could learn SQL, and these are just some of the responses that she got back. So the community on Twitter is really active, and they're really willing to help if you pose any question. Like it wasn't even a Tableau question, and she got loads of people coming back with useful links. So definitely consider joining Twitter. I think that's my number one tip of the day. Number 5 is get certified. So I mentioned I got my Tableau certifications, but not until quite a long time after I started using Tableau. I don't want you to wait that long. I shouldn't have waited that long. I just kept putting it off because I was worried I would fail. So don't do what I did. But because certifications are a really good way to prove your Tableau skills and also your data visualization skills as well, because a lot of the Tableau certifications focus around best practice. It's really good to boost your CV. So if you can actually say you're certified in something, that's going to help you get a job if it's something you really want to do in the Tableau world. It will also help you stand out from other candidates who perhaps haven't got a certification. I found the certifications to be really good to test my knowledge. There was loads of things that I kind of missed when I was learning Tableau, especially because a lot of the stuff I've done is self-taught, and just studying for the certifications helped me fill those gaps and just strengthen my overall knowledge of the platform. And then the great thing about getting a certification is you earn like virtual badges. If you ever go to Tableau conference, you can get a t-shirt, you can get like real in-life badges, and there's lots of free stuff that comes up that's offered to people that have the Tableau certifications. Now, if you're wondering what the certification path looks like for Tableau Desktop, the entry level exam is the specialist exam, which is actually new. So that wasn't around when I started using Tableau. It's just 1 hour long, 30 multiple choice questions. It normally costs $100, but it's currently discounted by 50% until the end of June. So you can currently get it for $50, and that's valid forever. So I definitely recommend checking that out if you want kind of an entry level kind of course into Tableau and a certification to go with it. Then there's this associate exam, so you don't need to sit the specialist exam before sitting the associate exam, so you can go straight in at that level if you want. It is more expensive, it's $250, but it's only valid for 2 years. But you need to take the associate exam if you want to take the professional exam, because you need to have an in-date associate exam before you can sit the other one. That one's $600. It's 3 hours long. It is quite a difficult exam, I'm not going to lie, but it's really worthwhile taking if you've been using Tableau a while and really want to upskill and just show off that you know the platform inside out. Number 6 is leverage community resources. So I've touched on the community a lot around getting engaged, but there's a few key resources I'd like to point you to. So people in the Tableau world love to blog, they love to share their knowledge, love to share videos on YouTube. And there's so many blogs, it can be quite overwhelming. So I've just summarized just 5 key ones here that I'd recommend checking out. So there's Andy Kriebel's blog, which is known as vizwiz.com. That's amazing. He's been using Tableau for such a long time. He's now got over 1,000 Tableau blog posts or posts around advice, tutorials, that kind of thing. And he's like the guru. He knows everything there is to know about Tableau. So highly recommend going to check out his website. He founded Makeover Monday, so there's a lot of Makeover Monday stuff on there as well. Another one that's worth checking out is Playfair Data. So that's the website run by Ryan Sleeper, who was a Tableau Zen master for many years. He's got actually got a free platform and a paid platform, so you can actually sign up for a monthly plan, and he's got behind that monthly like paywall, he has a lot of training videos, both for people starting out or for more advanced users. He's also an author. He's written 2 books, maybe even be 3, on Tableau. He had a new one just come out recently, and these are really good because he's very good at writing Tableau tutorials that are really easy to understand, and they're really practical kind of tips that you genuinely can use in your day job. Another blog to check out is the Flurledge Twins. So that's run by Kevin and Ken. They're the twins in the Tableau community. They are actually twins. And they are like geniuses in everything Tableau. They're both Zen masters. And they publish a lot of Tableau tutorials, just general like how to do stuff, but also templates that help you do more creative things. So maybe you want to build a Sankey diagram or things like that. They actually have templates where you can just plug your data in and then publish a visualization using that template. So it makes it really, really easy. They're both very good at maths, so they put all the mathematical kind of knowledge in the background. So all you need to do is just put your data in and it just works. So it's really worth checking that out if you want to learn some of the more advanced techniques. Data Revelations is run by Steve Rexler. He's a Hall of Fame Zen master, just like Andy Kriebel. He publishes a lot of things around tutorials and best practices, but a lot of the stuff that he does is focused around survey data. So I know a lot of people have to visualize survey data. It can be quite difficult. So if you want to look at anything like that, definitely check out Steve's blog. It's really, really helpful. And finally, some people like to watch videos and rather than read blog posts. So I recommend looking at Tableau Tim's YouTube channel. So Tableau Tim publishes lots of very well produced Tableau videos, mainly focused on new features, but also just general tips and tricks as well. So every time Tableau releases about 4 new versions a year, and every time they do that, Tableau Tim will publish loads of videos around all the different new features that have come out. So I highly recommend having a look at that. And then finally, I'd say teach others. So you may be wondering, why is this a thing? Like, if I want to learn myself, why should I teach others? But I think the number one way of actually solidifying your knowledge and proving that you know something is to try and teach somebody else it. So I found since doing my current job, I've started teaching people Tableau, and it's really helped me kind of fill in those gaps again and learn things that perhaps I missed when I was learning Tableau myself. You can teach others really easily. Just start out by maybe starting a blog or your own video channel. It doesn't have to be anything flashy. It's pretty easy to put a blog together on something like WordPress, or just start a YouTube channel. You could just even record videos of yourself, like presenting on a screen. I started my blog right at the beginning of my journey, and it was pretty cheap to set up. If you're not comfortable doing that, then there's plenty of people out there that will let you feature a post on their site, so you can effectively publish a blog on someone else's site and get full credit for that. You could mentor someone, just like I mentioned before. That's a really good way of kind of teaching somebody and being supportive on their Tableau journey. You could present at tugs or meetups just like this one. I'm sure Abby would love it if someone else came forward to present. So there's loads of speaking opportunities available if that's something you'd like to do. And also at the moment, given that everyone's gone virtual, that opens up a whole host of other opportunities, which mean you can present at user groups around the world. Try and have a look at answering some questions on the Tableau forum. So people go on there when they're stuck with Tableau issues. You can always go and have a look at something called the crow's nest on there and look at all the unanswered questions and just see if there's anything you can help with. And that's quite challenging at times, because you'll be forcing yourself to kind of put yourself in the mindset of the person that's posted the question and trying to figure out like what they're trying to do. And I found that really helpful if you actually want to learn things or common like techniques that you may not have come across at work or in your own work. And finally, if you're using Tableau at work and perhaps there's not much of a community around it in your workplace, I recommend setting up a Tableau doctor practice. So just like a regular Tableau doctor practice has like regular appointments and check-ins, and basically people come to you with Tableau problems, and you as the doctor try and help those people overcome those problems. So it can be really good to like help your colleagues and just upskill everyone around you at work. So just to recap then, so the main things I've said today: master the basics, so build your Tableau, the strong foundations in Tableau and the platform and understanding of the basic applications of the of Tableau. Practice regularly, so don't just practice once a week. Try and practice every day if you can. The more you use Tableau, the easier it will become. Publish your work, share your work and seek feedback. So don't just viz in silence, just publish your work. Don't worry, no one's going to shout at you or criticize your work in a horrible way. Everyone's really supportive. Join the community, and you can do that just by joining the conversations on Twitter, engaging with others, or leveraging community resources such as blog posts. Try and get certified. So even if it's just a specialist exam, try and get something to prove your skills. And again, the e-learning is currently free, so that you can get badges with that as well at the moment. And it's that, like I said, that's completely free for 30 days. So sorry, 90 days if you join up before the 30th of June. And then teach others as well. So that can really help solidify your understanding. So share your knowledge and give back, because obviously the community only is what it is because people give back. So try and, for everything you take, try and give something back as well. So thank you for listening. If you want to reach out to me, I have all of my contact details there, and you can reach out to me on any of those platforms. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Abby.
Yeah. Sarah, you mentioned the book Storytelling with Data, and I wanted to show everyone, like, this is mine here, it's right beside me. If you can see my video.
Yeah,
I have mine. Yeah, so
look, there's mine.
Yeah, it's a really, really good book. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she has I was going to say she has another one too. It's called Less Practice. So that gives you like things you can work through and practice on your own as well, which is really cool.
All right. Should we do question Q&A before we go into live viz review?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do Q&A. Guys, if you have any question, you can just unmute and ask your question. Or if you don't want to unmute, you can post it in the chat.
Sarah, Satya here from India.
Hi Satya.
Yep. So I have one question. It's like I have been using Tableau for the last year. I have started and I'm quietly using, and I'm following you and all the people here, all the wonderful people who are helping me to grow in the Tableau community and everything. And this is helping me a lot in my office work also. And thanks to you all, first of all. And the next question is like, how much time I should spend? Because I know the office work is different, but I want to spend something in the weekend, like to grow my skills in the Tableau. So what is the minimum time I should spend to excel in this skill?
Good question. So obviously it depends what you're trying to do. I'd say when I was trying to learn Tableau more, I was spending a couple of hours like in the evenings, just after work, just trying to upskill, maybe do some Make for Mondays or read blog posts. So it depends what you want to do. If you want to do hands-on, or if you want to do more reading, but I'd say dedicate, maybe 2 to 3 hours at the weekend just to upskill.
Yep. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Satya. Hi.
Yair from Israel.
Hi, Yair. Thank you for joining.
Hi.
Thank you for the talk. It's really great and informative. My question is like, I'm working as a BI analyst in like a corporate firm, and all of my dashboards are like full of bar charts and maybe line charts, but that's it. Like there is no place for creativity, and every time I try to do something creative, more than just a simple bar chart or something like that, my boss is like, yeah, it's nice, but we used to look at bar charts and that's how we do it. So how can you, if you have some like experience with that, how can you pass the barrier of people that are not used to look at something different than just a simple bar chart?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know, Abby, if you want to answer any of these, but I'll take this one. I'd say, you need to kind of show them the benefit they're going to get from something a little bit more creative. Now, there's some creative techniques that aren't better than bar charts. In some cases, a bar chart is probably the best choice. But it doesn't mean to say it needs to be boring. There's things you can do with bar charts to make them, more enticing and things like that. But I'd say try and show different techniques, so alongside what you'd usually do. So maybe you could to have two versions, the bar chart version and then something a little bit more creative. I'd say look at the Cole Nussbaumer Affleck storytelling with data stuff, because she talks about this a lot. So she'll show you charts that can take you from a simple bar chart to something a little bit more creative, which may actually help you actually understand the data, make it easier for people to read, as well as being a little bit more exciting. So, you know, try and do both techniques at the same time, and then try to prove to your boss the kind of like why one is better than the other, or maybe one may get more engagement than the other one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Am I audible? Hello.
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 Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Very good. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all. I am from India, Hyderabad. So I've been using Tableau for about 2 years, I guess. Mostly like you, Sarah. I can relate to, like you have seen saying that you've been almost self-taught from a MIS analyst into converted into Tableau developer. So I have been using MIS Excel, MIS reporting in Excel most likely. And when I started in Tableau, I took a training with one of the person in my nearby area, and from there on started. I knew about Tableau by then, but I couldn't get my hands-on experience, so I lost a few couple of months of time there, and I got a knowledge gap. And when I started again, I had started from bar charts, line charts, and much more than that. But I could not know about how the community was, where the community was. I was searching for people who were willing to help me, and I used mostly about Andy Kriebel's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And so to work, and I developed some skill from that YouTube channel itself. And from there on, when I started effectively, I lost my job. My contract was over in the last December in my company. So I've been unemployed since then, since 6 months. What I did in this 6 months was I started uh, getting together with the community. So effective 1st of Jan, I published my first Tableau quiz of the week on 10th of January. So from there,
Congratulations.
yeah, that was the first one, but it was very awful one because I used only some picture and some dashboard and some bar charts and some scatter plots there. But then from there on, I have created something new that I did not use before. But I have been consistently upgrading myself and keeping in touch with the community. The best part happened to me was in the 6 months of time is initially I had only one meeting that with Make or Monday on a Wednesday evening. From there on, I started increasing my number of events per week, and by now I can hardly see on an average 5 to 6 meetings in a week. So I was telling my mom yesterday that I'm not, though I'm being unemployed, but I'm not being productive. I've never been productive. I've been always busy with my Tableau skills and improving them. Yeah, I had a couple of creativity blocks here and there while publishing my Tableau dashboards. I stopped at the very end. I created 90% of the dashboard, but at the last 10% I got stuck. I couldn't do it without a time frame. And plus I was also creating my backup career and pursuing my other course in the weekends. So I spend my weekends about 8 hours on both on Saturdays and Sundays. Too much of time is going into learning. but even though it is more of a learning, I have only one question here for you. Probably you might have been, or some of you have been already facing this issue or have overcome this issue. What happens? How do you come out of the creativity blockhead? Like when you wanted to create something in Tableau, you feel stuck up at some point, and how do you overcome that? What do you think about it?
Yeah, so this happens to me quite a lot. So I'd say definitely try and take a break. Maybe sometimes this happens when you've been doing like biz after biz after biz and you've just kind of run out of ideas. Try and get away from the computer, go outside, look at different things. Look at Pinterest, I find is really useful. So just have a look at data visualizations and art and graphic design things on Pinterest. That could give you some like ideas. There's another thing there's a site called Dribble. just like dribble with the ball. You can go on there and have a look at just very modern designs and just things that people have created more in that the UX UI space. There's a lot of things that you can get on there and ideas you can kind of source from there as well. I'll just kind of say, just start looking at something different. Maybe have a look at Tableau Public, look at the visit of the days, look at what other people are doing, and that may spark some interest as well.
Yeah, I have a second question here, if I may continue.
Sure.
How much do you suggest on reading books like Make or Monday or Storytelling with Data that you have been sharing about on this conference here?
Yeah, I highly recommend looking at books. I've got lots of books on DataViz, probably like all the main ones, but I haven't read them all because I don't have time. So I've got them all in my bookcase. Storytelling with my data is my favorite. They're good to reference, but I'd say don't spend loads of money on books. You can get a lot of this stuff for free online. If there's something you're really passionate about, then yeah, buy the book. But most of the time you can go and find blog posts and things like that, which you don't need to buy the book for.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. Because this year is my most productive year apart from the last few years, because I've been consistently in touch with the Tableau community, and thank you so much for all the people, superstars who do all this kind of work and day in and day out, despite your regular jobs, the effort you put in, it's very much commendable. I'm very proud of to be a part of the community.
Thank you. That's great to hear.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Does anyone have any other questions? Okay, so in the absence of that, we'll just go into the reviews. We have two visits. We have Simi and Zainab. They shared. Did you see they are mentioned on Twitter, Sarah?
I saw Zainab's. I didn't see the other one.
Okay, so do you want me to share it on my screen and then we can talk about it?
Yeah, sure. Do you want us to take the screen?
Yeah, let me do that. 1 second. So we'll start with Zainab's.
And this was for Makeover Monday this week, so the Operation Fistula one.
Yes, for
yeah?
Makeover Monday this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me share. Hey Zainab, are you there?
Yes, hi Abby, I'm here. Hi Sarah.
Hi.
Okay, so can everyone see Zainab's viz? If you can, Zainab, can you see the viz?
I can see. Or are you sharing your screen?
Yes, I'm sharing my screen.
I can see.
Sarah. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't see.
Can anyone else see it?
Can anyone else see my screen?
Yeah, looks like people can.
Yeah, looks like people can.
Oh yeah, I can see now.
All right, great. Okay, Sarah, how do we run this? Do you want to start?
Yeah. Let
Sure.
me just take a minute to look at the bits. So it's really good that you've gone through all like the metrics, so like you've showing like, so just for context, do you want to set any context, Abby, around what this data set was, just before we begin, so people that haven't seen it more?
Okay, so just for context, there's something called, like an organization called Operation Fistula, and they're doing like a year-long it's called VIS5, but basically the focus is on women and like issues that women face, and yeah, so they talk about different data sets that are highlighting issues around women and like helping women. So this one is for women and girls at risk in Tanzania, right? For female genital mutilation in Tanzania. So that's like the background of what this is about.
Yeah, so so I like how you're showing that distribution of over time, how many people have been admitted to the safe house, and then like all the details around those girls that have come in, like what their needs were. For the religion part, because Christians like are huge, and that is, they account for like 90-something% of all admissions, I'd consider changing that just to like a what we call like a band, like a big number. So just show like the percentage rather than the bar, because I think we can see from looking at the bar that it's predominantly Christian. So maybe just change that, and that will break it up a bit, because you've got obviously 6 bar charts, which is quite a lot. So try and think about ways that we can show different chart types just to break up the view. I would personally, I wouldn't color the line chart with, you know, you've got the like what do you call it, the diverging colors from like light to dark. I don't think that's really necessary, but I would call out like the points. So you've got like, I think late 2018 and then October 2019, there was obviously a lot of girls admitted to the safe house. So I'd consider like annotating those points just to explain why that is, if you know, or even just add in a note to kind of call that point out, to, you know, help people engage and kind of understand what's going on in the visualization a little bit more. I've seen a couple of people this week show like a distribution of the ages of girls as dots, and just show like how that's staggered over time or over age bands. So you can really see like the concentration of where the most common age is in a slightly different chart. And I don't know if you expect people to like interact with visualizations. There's always an argument that sometimes the stuff posted on Tableau Public people don't interact with. So personally, I wouldn't include the filters, or if I was to include them, I'd keep them as just single value drop downs or multi-value drop downs, so they're not taking up so much room. But otherwise, it's really good. I like how you've kept the colors really consistent throughout, and it looks good.
Yeah, I think for me as well, I wouldn't color like the line charts like you mentioned. Also, if I didn't look to the right to see the legend, I wasn't sure that this legend was specifically for this pie chart, right? Because the color is like across everywhere. So yeah. I wasn't sure this legend, for example, is it across all the other views, or is it just the bar chart, the pie chart, I mean. So that's a bit confusing.
Maybe you could just label the pie chart so that have
yeah.
the yes, no, and then maybe use a different color for everything else, or for the pie chart, so it's consistent, because otherwise people may interpret all the like the oranges as yeses, which may not be the case.
Yeah, so I think that other than that, you've mentioned like my other comments. Also, I know that this, you may have not, instead of labeling the pie charts, like if this is too long, you can use like an alias. For example, instead of no, never went, or if it's too long, you can shorten it however you want.
I was thinking maybe on the middle chart, needs on arrival at safe house, I think all of them say immediate needs on arrival and then the thing that they needed. So I'd consider just changing the alias on those in the same way. So it's like clothes, counseling, shoes.
Yes,
and it'll be much shorter.
Yeah. Other than that, I think it's good. Well done, Zainab. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Zainab.
Thanks, Sarah and Abby, and thanks a lot for the feedback. Interestingly, last week, or was it? Yeah, last week, I gave a talk at my place of work. I'm a data scientist, and my topic of discussion was actually data visualization, and maybe as little as I know, because data visualization for me is more of an interest thing, because I tend to do a lot more of like programming or like, you know, core analytics, where I don't visualize a lot. So, but like I've just taken upon myself to just, you know, develop the interest in visualization. And so because I don't necessarily do it all the time per se, so I wouldn't say that I've spent enough time sort of developing my skill. But it was interesting that after like giving the talk last week at work, people like my colleagues were even surprised at the like possibilities of like the importance of like having visas. And you know, I was just thinking to myself, like, I'm not even good at this thing like that. And so yeah, so it's really good. Like, thank you so much for the feedback. I agree with like a lot of things that you said, like coloring the line, for example. The colors could be a bit distracting, and if it's okay, you know, I mean, I'd like to like sort of redo this, and then maybe share if you are okay to just like sort of give me a second like review away from this class, of course.
Yeah, totally. So if you put it on Twitter and then just like tag us both, that's probably the easiest way.
Okay.
That would be really cool. Well done.
Lovely. Thank
Keep
you.
up the great work as well.
Thanks.
Thanks, Zainab.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Simi's.
Oh man, I'm nervous.
I
Hi,
know.
Simi.
Oh man.
Okay.
Don't worry, it's fine.
So I need to, yeah, okay. So it's a long view.
Yeah, you can't ever see it in one view.
Yes, you
not
can't
your
see this in
business
one
in
view.
general. Yeah, they don't condense it down. Okay.
Alrighty. So let me start. Sorry, let me just take a moment to look at it.
I used to do the viz reviews of Eva, and it's obviously we go through so many, you have to like say something straight away. It's really hard because you have to like look at them and take them in.
Exactly. Okay. All right, you labeled the pie charts like I mentioned. Okay. So for me, I'm not sure that, first of all, with separating the day, the month by which the girls came in, right? Were we trying to highlight, like, Simi, were you trying to highlight something here that we should, for example, the only thing I later found out here was December 200, police brought in 200 girls. But other than that, everything here seems to be pretty, like there's no different trend, right? So I can't really see why we should display this by dates. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Or by month.
So by month, yes.
Yeah, I think this is the same data that Zainab showed in the line chart, right? But it's broken out by who brought them in.
Yes.
So I would consider just showing it in a line chart form, and maybe if you wanted to show like who those people were that brought them in, you could put that as a bar chart, like as a Visin tooltip. So you can hover over like December, and then you'd see kind of that breakdown without kind of showing all that information up front. Because as we can see, it's mainly police and volunteers, and then it kind of trails off on the other points. So I think you could maximize that space better by showing it in a different kind of chart type, because that's it's taking up a lot of space. So yeah.
Yeah, that was what I actually did originally. So I still have that video. So this was I couldn't choose. I still have that. I think I'll share with Abby, or I don't know, maybe I'll share it later. But yeah, I have both of them. I wasn't sure on which one to go with. I just ended up going with this one.
Okay. I think sometimes when I try to think of, I try to think of it from the point of when someone is looking at this viz, what do I want them to see? Right. So when I think about it that way, sometimes it helps me define, okay, this is like the chart you should use, or this is the information you should focus on. Yeah.
Andy Cooper has this good technique of like who, what, when, where, how, like, and trying to answer all those questions and just trying to have fun and build that out in different tabs. So answer each question and figure out kind of which chart works best. And just obviously Tableau is so easy to use, you can just throw away anything that doesn't really work. That technique can work quite well.
Yeah. Also, when I use bar charts, I always like to remove the grid line behind. That's just personal to me. Like here, the grid lines behind, I try to remove them. Yeah. But other than that, yes, you labeled this correctly, and like we can see the types of cases firsthand. So yeah, I think that's it from me.
Just for
Sarah?
me, yeah, so if you scroll up just the what will their needs on arrival, I'm not sure why you colored the others in red, maybe because it's other, but I'd consider just if you're going to use color like that, then stick to one or two colors. So maybe color the clothes in a different color because that's the top category, and then keep the others in like a light gray or like a more muted color. So just drawing people's attention to the top one. The same with the health status. So again, just draw people's attention to the fact that they were healthy, and just kind of put the others in the same like kind of more muted color. And
Yeah.
then on the bubble chart, these charts can be quite tricky to read. Like they're the one chart that everyone always goes to first, just like I've shown you in my own work, because they look really cool. But they're actually quite difficult to read because it's visually we struggle to show the difference between determine the difference between different size circles. So without the label on violence, it's quite difficult to see the difference in size between violence and child marriage. So if you ask me to say how many people were a case of child marriage, I'd struggle to tell you based on the values that I can see. But if it was in a bar chart like the ones you've got on the screen, it's really easy to see like how they're ordered in terms of size. So I'd consider maybe changing that to a different chart type, or because there's so many of the FGM cases, maybe just calling that out on its own.
Yeah.
I like the fact
also,
you put, I was gonna say, sorry, I like the fact you put in some context. That's really cool. But I try and keep all the text at the same, like a similar color, so it doesn't distract.
Yeah. I also wanted to mention something. Because for example, with this health status upon arrival, right? We are already differentiating with the height of the bars, right? And then we're also differentiating with colors. So it would be helpful if you choose to differentiate with just the height of the bars, and then all the colors remain the same. Like maybe you make only this one blue, and then the rest of them are like the same color. Do you get?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and then if you're keeping that one blue, then don't color anything else blue unless it relates to healthy
yes,
girls, because people might misinterpret like the STIs and child marriage look like a similar color. They may think that everyone that came in for STI reasons also was a victim of child marriage, which probably isn't the case.
yeah. So being mindful of colors and drawing correlations.
Yeah,
I
same
think
with the
that's
suggestions.
same thing
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much the same thing here, because the color for this ES here and this FGM, they're the same. Yeah.
Yeah, just be consistent. That's all. Just so that make sure that one color doesn't mean two things. And
Yeah,
generally speaking, I think if you use less colors, it looks a lot cleaner and it's easier to read as well. And one thing I usually do is where you've got the on the suggestions from social worker, you've got the kind of like the column like headers. You can actually hide those. Half the time I think they're not really necessary. So you know where you've got that suggestion, you
yes,
kind of
here.
cut off. Yeah, I usually just hide those by default, because unless you've got a table, they don't really add much, I find anyway.
Yes, that's a good one for picking that out. Yeah, I think that's it. Does anyone on the call like have something to add? Who knows?
I was just going to say for both of the vises, try and put in a call to action. So I know that on the feedback call that Eva did with Operation Fistula, they recommended putting in like a button that would take you to like a site where you could donate money or find out more about the charity. So I'd consider putting that on there. So at the top of this viz, you've obviously got the logos for the charities. That's really good. You could make those like clickable, but just by like putting in like a URL action so people can go through and learn more about like the organization as well.
Yeah, so like it makes impact.
Yeah.
Okay. So hey Simeon and Zena, please update your business. And please share with us on Twitter.
Don't be scared.
Yes, please.
I do have a question, and it might come up. I don't know, it might be funny to you, but aside from the basic like charts that are available within the Tableau app or the software, are they eating like charts somewhere else? Because you see some like visits and they're just confused, like you don't know how or where or how they even begun to like, I don't know, to create the visualization. And so like, are there other ways aside from like the basic like chart types within the Tableau that you can also develop like visualizations? Because I mean, I've seen some visualization, like there's no way I can do this, like bar charts or just lines.
So
or just
there
lines.
is. Can I share my screen?
Yes, please. I've stopped.
All right.
You can share.
So there's this workbook. If you let me know, you can see it.
I can see it.
Okay, so this is the visual vocabulary by Andy Kriebel. It's on Tableau Public. I can post the link in the chat in a second. But what Andy Kriebel did was basically took the visual vocabulary, which is published by the Financial Times in the UK, and it's essentially like a big poster that shows all the different ways you can visualize data. And he took that and built all the charts out in Tableau. So if you go over here, you can say, okay, I want to do a chart on like deviation. I'm actually going to click the links up here, but you can go through to deviation, and he shows you all the ways you can show like how to show deviation in Tableau. And the great thing about this is you can actually download it, and then you can figure out like by reverse engineering how he did all these charts. So they're all 100% in Tableau. I think there's about 30 different examples here of different charts. So if you're looking to get away from just like bars and lines, it's a really good place to go. I go here a lot if I'm stuck for like inspiration.
Lovely. What about colors then? Because sometimes colors as well, it's a bit difficult sometimes for me to like, I have a color in my head, but I don't know how to go about actually using the color.
Yeah, so is it Coolers? This is a site that I use.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can actually go and it will generate color schemes for you, and you can change any of these. So if you can just press the space bar and it gives you these color palettes. So you can be here. I spent ages on here just having fun, and you can say, all right, yeah, I really like that green, let's say. So you can lock it in, and then it will tell you other colors that go with the green. And you get the hex. So these are the hex codes, so you can then put them in Tableau.
Yeah, lovely.
Oh, wow, this is cool. I didn't even know about this.
My favorite, like
get eaten from us, you know, non-Zen masters.
Thanks for sharing that, Sarah.
It's all right. I'm going to put those links in the chat as well, so you've got.
Yeah, thank you so much, and of course the links in your presentation. You know, I assume you'll share that.
Sarah, you can share your presentation after the call, right?
Yep, I'll share it with you. Yeah.
Okay. And also, I'll put up the recording on YouTube. So, like, if anyone wants to go back to catch something, you can just always go back to YouTube. Once I put it up, I'll send a message to everyone that is available. Yeah. Does anyone still have any questions? Something to
I was just going to ask how the long chat I made, like Simi's chat, right? It was really long. How how do you?
Simi, tell us how you made it.
So yeah, that was actually tough. If I figured it out, because I couldn't move around on the screen properly, so I googled it. You know how to expand my. Can I share my screen briefly just to show what I did?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So this is what I did, because I kept trying to adjust the width and everything, and I realized that it wasn't changing. Yeah. So what I later realized was there was something here that said range. It didn't mean anything to me until I started trying. I just saw range and I saw this. I was like, what does this even mean? So I decided to click on fixed. That was how I was able to move around on the page. So once I clicked on fixed size, and then I was able to adjust the size of the dashboard, the width, the height. Yeah, that was it basically. So now I have to undo everything I've done.
I'd recommend I'd recommend doing custom size, because if you do custom size, it means that visualization will always show as that size, dependent, regardless of what people are looking at it on, like what size of their screen or anything like that. If you put automatic, your viz may stretch or shrink, and it could look a little bit weird if you didn't design it to be shown that way. And then range essentially is somewhere in between, so you've got a min and max kind of size. Just so you know.
Thank you, Simi and Sarah. I always just use automatic. Now I know.
All right. Any other questions? None? Hey guys, okay. Thanks so much for joining. Feel free to share what you learned on Twitter and tag Sarah, tag we_visualize. I'll send the roundup with the video, with Sarah's presentation. And I think the most important thing I mean that Sarah has said today is like you must practice. It's not a 1 day a week thing or once in 2 weeks. You have to do it like every day. You might not want to do it, but you have to. Yeah. So when I did Makeover Monday, I did it for 6 months straight every Monday. It was very hard, but I did it anyways, and it really helped me. And I actually plan to go back to like start doing it all over again. So yeah, practice.
Yeah, it's addictive. I tried to stop this year. I thought I'm not going to do it so much anymore, and I've just gone back to it because I missed it so much. So.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you so much, Sarah. This was really,
thank you,
really
Eshe.
helpful.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks for having me. Thanks everyone for joining.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you.